From the dawn of human history, men and women have pressed their hands to their chest and felt the rhythmic beating within. The heart's pulse is both intimate and undeniable, a soundless drum whose tempo quickens in moments of fear, slows in moments of calm, and vanishes only at death. Long before the discoveries of modern medicine, this mysterious organ was felt to be more than mere flesh. It seemed alive in its own right, carrying with it the essence of vitality, emotion, and spirit. For thousands of years, cultures across the world believed the heart was not simply a pump of blood, but the very seat of the soul, the dwelling place of consciousness, morality, and eternal life. Why did so many civilizations come to this conclusion? To answer this question, we must journey through the landscapes of ancient Egypt, Greece, China, India, and the Middle East, then trace the echoes of their wisdom into medieval philosophy, mysticism, and even into modern spiritual thought. The story of the heart as the seat of the soul is not only a history of ideas, but also a profound reflection of humanity's attempt to locate the invisible essence of life within the visible body. The heart in ancient Egypt. No civilization clung to the mystery of the heart more passionately than the ancient Egyptians. To them, the heart, called Ib, was the central organ of thought, memory, and moral character. The Egyptians did not believe the brain held any importance. In fact, when preparing a body for mummification, the brain was scooped out and discarded, while the heart was carefully preserved. Why? Because in the afterlife, a person's heart would be weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and cosmic order. This image of the weighing of the heart became one of the most powerful metaphors in Egyptian religion. If the heart was found lighter than the feather, meaning pure, unburdened by lies, cruelty, or selfishness, the soul could pass into eternal life. But if the heart was heavy with sin, it would be devoured by Animate, the fearsome creature, part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus. For Egyptians, therefore, the heart was more than life. It was judgment itself, the organ through which divine justice was measured. We see here the first great theme. The heart was linked not just with vitality, but with morality. A light heart meant innocence, a heavy heart meant guilt. Even today, echoes of this imagery remain in our language. To take something to heart, to have a change of heart, or to be heavy-hearted. The heart in Mesopotamia and the Hebrew tradition. In Mesopotamian cultures, too, the heart carried profound spiritual significance. The Sumerians and Babylonians viewed the heart as the center of decision-making and divine messages. Dreams were sometimes believed to scent the heart, where they were processed as visions and omens. The Hebrew Bible reflects similar ideas. In the Old Testament, the word heart appears over 800 times. It is not simply a biological organ, but the inner core of a person. Proverbs 4:23 advises, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Here, the heart is the source of thought, will, and intention. In Hebrew thought, the heart was where God could examine a person's true self beyond appearances or spoken words. It was the sanctuary of sincerity. The heart in ancient Greece. The Greeks developed a more complex debate about the seat of the soul. Some philosophers, such as Empedocles and Aristotle, believed the heart was the true locus of sensation, thought, and spirit. Aristotle, in particular, argued that the heart was the first organ to form in the embryo and the central fire of life. To him, the brain was merely a cooling mechanism, like a radiator, designed to regulate the fiery energy of the heart. But others, like Plato and later Hippocrates, proposed the brain as the seat of the rational soul. This created a philosophical tension. Was the soul in the chest or the head? Still, even Plato placed great emphasis on the heart as the dwelling place of courage, emotion, and will, while reason was assigned to the brain. Thus the Greeks created a dualism between the intellectual and the emotional, a split that still shapes our psychology today. The heart in ancient India and China. Across the East, the heart carried similar but uniquely nuanced meanings. In ancient India, the Upanishads and later Hindu philosophy described the heart, Hridaya, as the seat of the Atman, the eternal self or soul. Within the heart resides a lotus, and inside that lotus dwells the spark of divinity. Meditation practices instructed seekers to enter the cave of the heart to encounter ultimate reality. The heart was not simply a pump of blood, but a doorway to transcendence. In ancient China, the heart, Xin, was both heart and mind combined without a strict separation. In Confucian thought, cultivating the heart meant cultivating virtue, compassion, and harmony. In Taoist practices, the heart was the ruler of the body, harmonizing spirit and energy. Unlike the West, which often divided head and heart, the Chinese viewed the two as inseparable, merging thought and feeling into one living organ of consciousness. The ancient civilizations had already established the heart as a vital organ of not just blood, but meaning, morality, and divine truth. As time passed and new religions emerged, this idea did not disappear. It deepened, took on new forms, and became central to mystical traditions that still shape human spirituality. The heart in early Christianity. Christianity inherited much from Hebrew tradition, in which the heart symbolized the center of inner life. In the Gospels, Jesus frequently referred to the heart when speaking about purity, faith, and spiritual perception. "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God," Matthew 5:8, became a foundational teaching. It was not intellect or ritual, but the state of one's heart that determined closeness to the divine. The Apostle Paul also emphasized the heart as the place where faith dwells. In Romans 10:10, he writes, "For with the heart man believes unto righteousness." Here, belief is not a function of the mind, but of the inner organ that symbolizes sincerity, love, and devotion. By the early centuries of the Christian era, the heart was depicted as the place where Christ dwells within the believer. Monastic writers encouraged the practice of guarding the heart, watching over one's inner thoughts, passions, and desires so that divine grace could shine. The heart became a battlefield between good and evil, where salvation was decided. This symbolism would eventually give rise to the famous devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus in later centuries, where the heart, encircled with thorns and radiating light, represented divine love poured out for humanity. The Christian mystical tradition elevated the heart from a metaphor into a vision of cosmic love. The heart in Sufism, Islamic mysticism. In the Islamic world, especially within Sufism, the heart, qalb, was understood as the center of spiritual perception. The Quran refers to the heart as the organ by which humans can understand divine truth. Have they not traveled through the land, and do they not have hearts with which to reason? Quran 22:46. Unlike modern associations of reasoning with the brain, Islamic tradition saw the heart as the true faculty of understanding. Sufi mystics taught that the heart could be polished like a mirror until it reflected the light of God. Yet the heart could also become veiled by sins, distractions, and worldly attachments. The spiritual path was therefore a process of purification, tazkiyat al-qalb, the cleansing of the heart. In Sufi practice, remembrance of God was often performed with physical attention to the beating heart. The rhythm of the heart was synchronized with the rhythm of prayer, turning the body itself into a living invocation. To many Sufis, the heart contained a hidden core, the sir, or secret, that directly connected the individual soul to the divine.
Medieval Christian mysticism and the heart. While Sufis explored the heart as the mirror of divine light, Christian mystics of the Middle Ages also centered their experiences on the heart. Figures like St. Augustine, St. Bernard of Clairvaux, and later St. Teresa of Avila spoke of the heart as a chamber, a garden, or even a castle where the soul encounters God. Augustine's famous line, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it rests in you," summarizes this theology. The restless heart, yearning for God, became the symbol of human longing. Bernard described the heart as expanding under divine love, becoming vast enough to contain God himself. Teresa envisioned the soul as an interior castle with many rooms, the innermost chamber being the heart where union with God occurs. Mystical visions frequently described fiery encounters within the chest, where the heart seemed to burn with divine love. This imagery echoes back to ancient Egypt and Greece, but is now transformed, no longer just moral judgment or courage, but a flame of intimacy with the divine. The heart and scholastic philosophy. In medieval philosophy, debates continued about whether the soul resided in the heart or the brain. Thinkers such as Thomas Aquinas attempted to reconcile Aristotle's view of the heart with the growing recognition of the brain's role in sensation and thought. Aquinas acknowledged the brain's functions, but insisted that the heart still held symbolic primacy. It was the seat of affectivity, the place where love, the highest virtue, was born. Thus, even as medicine advanced and the brain's importance became clearer, the heart retained its spiritual authority. Doctors could describe anatomy, but theologians and mystics insisted that the mystery of the soul still pulsed within the chest. Symbolic continuities. By the late Middle Ages, the heart was enshrined in both religious art and popular devotion. Medieval manuscripts often contained illustrations of flaming hearts, pierced hearts, or hearts offered to Christ. In Islamic calligraphy, the word Allah was sometimes stylized within the outline of a heart. Across cultures, the organ had become a universal emblem of love, sincerity, and divine encounter. Why the heart and not another organ? The answer lies partly in direct human experience. Unlike the brain, the heart announces itself clearly. It beats, races, stops, and surges in direct response to emotion. When one is frightened, the heart pounds. When one is calm, the heart steadies. When one falls in love, the chest feels warm, even electric. The organ is experienced not only physically, but existentially. It gives immediate evidence that life and emotion are inseparably bound. Mystics, poets, and philosophers recognized this long before scientific instruments confirmed any correlation between emotion and heart rate. Thus, the heart became the natural vessel for what could not be seen, the soul itself.
As Europe emerged from the Middle Ages into the Renaissance, the symbolic power of the heart did not vanish. Instead, it transformed, sometimes challenged by new discoveries in science, sometimes elevated by poetry and art, sometimes reimagined in philosophy. The heart continued to pulse not only in human bodies, but also in the collective imagination of entire cultures. Renaissance medicine and the heart. During the Renaissance, human anatomy became a serious field of study. Physicians such as Andreas Vesalius dissected human bodies and published detailed anatomical drawings that revolutionized understanding. Later, in the 17th century, William Harvey discovered the circulation of blood, showing that the heart functioned as a pump, moving blood through a closed system of veins and arteries. This was a turning point. Until Harvey, many still considered the heart a mysterious furnace of life, somehow producing emotions and thoughts. Harvey's findings shifted the view toward a mechanical interpretation. The heart became not a cauldron of spirit, but an engine of circulation. The brain began to gain prominence as the organ of reason, sensation, and thought. Yet even as science redefined the heart biologically, its spiritual and symbolic associations endured. People did not suddenly stop believing that emotions resided in the chest. The felt experience of the heart, pounding in joy or sorrow, could not be erased by diagrams. Thus, a dual perspective emerged.
the heart as scientific pump and the heart as symbolic soul. Renaissance art and literature. Artists and poets of the Renaissance embraced the heart as a metaphor for love, courage, and devotion. Petrarch's sonnets describe the heart as both burdened and exalted by desire. The symbol of a flaming heart, inspired by Christian mysticism, appeared frequently in paintings, representing divine or romantic passion. In alchemical texts of the Renaissance, the heart was often illustrated as the vessel of transformation. The alchemist's work of purifying metals was mirrored in the work of purifying the human heart. To achieve the philosopher's stone was also to achieve a heart purified of base desires and filled with divine light. The Enlightenment philosophy and the challenge of reason. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, rationality, and scientific progress, posed a challenge to the heart's supremacy. Thinkers such as René Descartes and later Immanuel Kant focused heavily on the mind as the locus of knowledge and morality. Descartes, famous for declaring, "I think, therefore I am," centered human identity in thought, not feeling. Yet even within this rational climate, the heart refused to be silenced. Blaise Pascal, the French mathematician and philosopher, made his famous statement, "The heart has its reasons which reason does not know." Pascal recognized that not all truth comes through logic. Faith, love, and moral conviction flow from a deeper source. The Enlightenment also birthed debates on the soul's location. Some mechanistic philosophers argued that the soul might not exist at all, while others relocated it to the nervous system. But common people, poets, and mystics held firm to tradition. The soul still dwelt in the heart. The Romantic Age and the return of the heart. By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the Romantic movement swept across Europe as a reaction to the cold rationality of the Enlightenment. Romantics celebrated emotion, nature, imagination, and passion, all qualities associated with the heart. Poets like William Wordsworth, John Keats, and Lord Byron wrote verses in which the heart symbolized not only love, but also deep communion with the natural world. The Romantics believed the heart connected humans to something infinite, something beyond mere intellect. In Keats's poetry, for example, beauty pierced the heart with both joy and melancholy, revealing the paradox of human existence. In German philosophy and literature, Goethe portrayed the heart as the furnace of striving and longing. His character Faust seeks knowledge with his mind, but redemption through his heart. Similarly, the philosopher Friedrich Schelling emphasized the unity of feeling and thought, insisting that truth could not be reduced to cold rationality. Romantic music, too, placed the heart at the center. Composers such as Beethoven and Chopin created works described as deeply heartfelt, stirring emotions that transcended reason. The very language of art shifted. To be heartfelt meant to be authentic, passionate, and true. The heart as symbol of authenticity. By the Romantic Age, the heart had become the primary symbol of authenticity in Western culture. While the brain represented intellect, calculation, and society's external structures, the heart represented inner truth, individuality, and sincerity. To follow one's heart became a guiding moral principle, a call to honor inner passion over external rules. This tension between head and heart continues into our modern lives. Romanticism enshrined the heart as the ultimate judge of authenticity, a tradition we still carry when we advise someone to trust their heart in making life's great decisions. Spiritual echoes in the age of reason. Even as rationalist and scientific perspectives grew, religious traditions continued to emphasize the heart. Catholic devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus spread widely in the 17th and 18th centuries, emphasizing divine love as a flame burning in the chest of Christ. Pilgrims prayed for their own hearts to be conformed to His. In Protestant traditions, preachers like John Wesley emphasized the warming of the heart, as a sign of genuine faith. Personal conversion experiences were often described in terms of the heart being touched, broken, or set aflame. Meanwhile, Sufi poets such as Rumi gained renewed influence in both East and West. Rumi's verses, "Close both eyes to see with the other eye of the heart," captured the imagination of readers worldwide. The heart remained the universal symbol of spiritual perception, beyond the reach of intellect alone. By the 19th century, humanity had entered the modern scientific age. Microscopes revealed the cellular structure of tissues. Physiology mapped a nervous system, and psychology began to emerge as a discipline exploring the human mind. Amid these revolutions, the heart's identity shifted once again. Yet, paradoxically, the more medicine explained the heart's mechanics, the stronger its symbolic and emotional power became. The heart in modern medicine. After William Harvey's discovery of circulation, medical research accelerated. In the 19th century, scientists identified the electrical impulses controlling the heartbeat and developed stethoscopes to listen to its rhythms. By the 20th century, electrocardiograms could map the heart's pulses, and surgeons began performing transplants and installing pacemakers. All of these discoveries reinforced the idea of the heart as a machine, an engine that could be repaired, replaced, even restarted with electricity. The brain, not the heart, was increasingly seen as the seat of thought, memory, and selfhood. Neurology, not cardiology, became the science of the soul. Yet despite this shift, culture refused to abandon the older symbolism. Even doctors, speaking clinically, often described patients' courage, hope, or despair in terms of the heart. Heart health was associated not just with cholesterol, but with lifestyle, happiness, and love. Thus, even as the heart became a medical object, it remained a metaphysical subject. The heart in psychology. The new science of psychology introduced a fresh dimension. In the late 19th century, William James, one of the fathers of psychology, argued that emotions were inseparable from bodily changes. Our hearts race, our breath shortens, and only then do we feel fear. Emotion and the body, he suggested, are inseparable. Later psychologists, including Carl Jung, drew heavily on symbolic language. Jung saw the heart as an archetype, representing the self, the unifying center of consciousness and unconsciousness. In dreams, a wounded heart symbolized brokenness, while a radiant heart symbolized wholeness. To Jung, the heart carried not just biological, but mythic significance embedded deep in the collective unconscious. Even in modern psychotherapy, patients often describe their inner lives in terms of the heart. They speak of heartache, of a cold heart, of pouring one's heart out. Therapists recognize these metaphors as powerful tools, revealing emotions that the rational mind struggles to articulate. The heart in literature and art of the modern era. From the Romantic poets into the 20th century, the heart's symbolism thrived in literature. Emily Dickinson wrote poems describing her heart as trembling, breaking, or leaping with joy. Leo Tolstoy spoke of the human heart as the ultimate compass for moral truth. In modern novels and cinema, love stories nearly always revolve around the heart, depicted as vulnerable, wounded, or triumphant. Visual art also continued to embrace the heart's imagery. The simple red heart icon, first appearing in medieval manuscripts, eventually became a universal symbol. By the 20th century, it adorned Valentine's Day cards, jewelry, and pop art. The phrase "I heart NY," popularized in the 1970s, transformed the heart into a global shorthand for affection, identity, and belonging. The heart and modern spiritual movements. While science demystified the heart biologically, spiritual movements re-enchanted it. In Hindu yoga, meditation on the Anahata chakra, located in the center of the chest, became a practice of awakening compassion and love. In Buddhist traditions, mindfulness of the heart cultivated metta, or loving kindness. The 20th century also saw the rise of the New Age movement, which emphasized the heart as a portal to higher consciousness. Practices such as heart coherence meditation or visualization techniques focused on aligning the physical heartbeat with spiritual awareness. Teachers claimed that when people entered a state of heart-centered consciousness, they experienced peace, intuition, and connection with the universe. The scientific mystique of the heart. Interestingly, modern science has uncovered findings that seem to echo ancient intuitions. Research in fields like psychophysiology and neurocardiology has shown that the heart has its own neural network, sometimes called the heart-brain, capable of sending signals that influence emotion and decision-making. The heart and brain are in constant dialogue, and the state of one affects the other. Studies also demonstrate how emotions alter heart rhythms. A stressed or fearful mind produces erratic, jagged heartbeats, while feelings of love or gratitude create smooth, coherent patterns. This phenomenon gave rise to the concept of heart coherence, a measurable state linked with emotional well-being. While this does not mean the soul literally resides in the heart, it reinforces why ancient cultures may have located there. Subjectively, people feel their emotions in the chest. Scientifically, the heart responds directly to emotional states. Symbol and science intersect in surprising ways. The enduring symbol of love. By the 21st century, the heart had become the universal emblem of love. Not only romantic, but also humanitarian. We donate money from the heart. We volunteer with a heart of gold. And we express gratitude with the phrase, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart." The symbol of the heart adorns hospitals, charities, and peace movements. In digital culture, the heart emoji has become one of the most used symbols on Earth. With a single click, people express empathy, solidarity, and affection across languages and borders. In a sense, the ancient Egyptians' belief that the heart was the key to moral life has found new expression in our daily communications. The heart as a spiritual compass in modern times. In modern philosophy and spirituality, many thinkers argue that the heart represents a form of wisdom beyond rationality. Philosopher Jean-Luc Marion described love as a saturated phenomenon that overwhelms rational categories, grasped only through the heart's openness. Spiritual teachers like Thich Nhat Hanh encouraged people to listen to their hearts as a way of practicing compassion and mindfulness. Thus, even in a world dominated by technology and science, the heart continues to symbolize the inner compass that guides us towards what truly matters. We may accept that the brain is the organ of thought, but we still believe the heart is the organ of truth.
The story of the heart is not confined to dusty manuscripts or the annals of philosophy. It continues to shape the present. In today's interconnected world, the heart remains both a universal and culturally specific symbol, woven into language, art, medicine, and spirituality. To understand why the heart is still considered the seat of the soul, we must look at how different cultures and traditions continue to interpret it in the 21st century and what future directions this symbolism might take. The heart in Eastern traditions today. In India, the spiritual heritage of the heart endures strongly. Millions still meditate on the Anahata chakra, visualizing a green lotus in the center of the chest that opens through compassion and divine love. Yoga teachers across the globe teach heart-centered breathing, encouraging practitioners to synchronize breath with awareness of the heart. In Tibetan Buddhism, the heart essence is considered the most profound teaching, an immediate, direct experience of reality beyond conceptual thought. The heart is not a metaphor, but a living doorway into enlightenment. Even in modern Buddhist centers in the West, practices of metta, loving kindness, remain central, radiating goodwill from the heart outward into the world.
In Chinese culture, the concept of Xin as both heart and mind continues to influence thought. In Chinese medicine, the heart is described as the emperor of the body, governing not just circulation, but emotional and mental balance. Acupuncture and herbal remedies aim to calm the heart or nourish the heart spirit, showing that ancient views still inform contemporary healing practices. The heart in Western culture. In the Western world, the heart has become almost synonymous with love. From Valentine's Day to wedding vows, from pop songs to movies, the heart symbolizes passion, romance, and intimacy. Popular music alone has immortalized phrases like broken heart, open your heart, and with all my heart. The symbolic heart may no longer be tied to strict religious metaphors, but it remains the shorthand for emotional truth. In psychology, too, the language of the heart dominates. Therapists often invite clients to speak from the heart or to explore where in their body they feel grief, anger, or love. This embodied approach acknowledges what ancient cultures knew. Emotions are not abstract, but lived in the rhythms of the chest. Meanwhile, medical culture frames heart disease as one of the most pressing global health challenges. Campaigns encourage people to take care of your heart, blending literal advice with symbolic weight. When doctors urge heart health, the message resonates not only as medical instruction, but as a call to cherish life itself. In indigenous cultures. Beyond East and West, many indigenous cultures continue to regard the heart as sacred. Among some Native American traditions, the heart is viewed as the seat of the spirit and the center of connection to the Great Spirit. Ceremonies involving drumming often align with the heartbeat, symbolizing harmony between human beings and the rhythms of nature. In African spiritual traditions, the heart is frequently associated with community and ancestry. To have a strong heart is to remain connected to one's lineage, to live in harmony with both ancestors and descendants. The vitality of the heart is not merely individual, but collective, sustaining the life of the tribe. In the heart, in global language and symbolism. One of the most striking things about the heart's symbolism is how universal it has become. Across languages, phrases equating the heart with sincerity, courage, and feeling are nearly universal. Whether it is the French avoir du cœur, to have heart, the Spanish de todo corazón, with all my heart, or the Japanese kokoro, heart-mind, cultures across the globe link the heart with the deepest layer of identity. The globalization of media has also spread the simple red heart icon to every corner of the world. Social media platforms use the heart as the default symbol for like or love. A digital tap of a heart now communicates warmth, approval, or solidarity, transcending barriers of language. In this sense, the heart has become humanity's first global spiritual emoji, carrying centuries of meaning into the instant world of smartphones. The future of the heart as a symbol. Where might the symbolism of the heart go in the future? Several possibilities suggest themselves. Neuroscience meets symbolism. As research into the heart-brain connection deepens, science may validate in new ways what ancient mystics intuited, that the heart is more than a pump. Findings about the heart's neural networks and emotional responses may encourage a revival of respect for the heart as a center of wisdom. Technological metaphors. In an age of artificial intelligence and bioengineering, the heart may become a metaphor for authenticity in contrast to machines. People may insist on keeping heart in human culture as a way of defending what is uniquely alive and emotional. Environmental spirituality. Movements for ecological awareness often speak of the heartbeat of the earth. The future may see the heart symbol expand from individual to planetary life, representing humanity's responsibility to care for the living world. Interfaith symbol. As religions engage in dialogue, the heart may serve as a common meeting point. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and indigenous traditions all revere the heart. It could become a shared emblem of unity beyond doctrinal differences. why the heart persists. The persistence of the heart as the seat of the soul rests on three intertwined realities. Physiological immediacy. Everyone feels their heart respond to fear, joy, or love. No scientific discovery can erase this lived experience. Cultural memory. Thousands of years of tradition, from Egyptian afterlife rituals to Sufi poetry, has carved the heart into humanity's symbolic DNA. Universal resonance. Unlike more abstract organs, the heart is universally accessible. It is the drumbeat of life, audible and palpable to all. Thus, even in a world dominated by satellites, algorithms, and machines, the heart remains a symbol that unites body and soul, science and spirit, personal identity, and collective belonging.
The journey of the heart through human history is not just a story of anatomy and symbolism. It is the story of how humanity has tried to understand its own essence, what it means to feel, to love, to believe, to suffer, and to hope. From the pyramids of Egypt to the cathedrals of Europe, from the chants of Buddhist monks to the poetry of Rumi, from the laboratories of cardiologists to the emojis on our phones, the heart has remained the central image of life's inner mystery. Why has this symbol endured for so long, across so many cultures, even in the face of scientific discoveries that explain the heart as a pump of flesh and muscle? The answer lies in the unique way the heart bridges the visible and the invisible, the physical and the spiritual, the temporal and the eternal. The heart as life's messenger. The first heartbeat in the womb signals the arrival of new life. The last heartbeat marks death's arrival. Between these two pulses stretches the entirety of human existence. To ancient peoples, this unmistakable rhythm was proof that the heart carried life itself. They were not wrong. The heart sustains the body, distributes oxygen, and responds instantly to conditions around it. But beyond biology, the heart also carries life in a symbolic sense. It reflects our deepest truths. A pounding chest betrays our fear. A racing heart betrays our desire. A broken heart betrays our grief. These experiences are universal. No explanation of neurons or hormones can erase the immediacy of this felt truth. The heart translates the invisible world of emotion into physical sensation, serving as life's messenger between the soul and the body. The heart as a mirror of morality. From the Egyptian weighing of the heart to biblical teachings about purity of heart, morality has long been imagined in cardiac terms. Even today, we describe people as having a good heart or a heart of stone. We do not praise someone for having a good brain in the same way, because morality is not merely intellectual. It is emotional, relational, and spiritual. The heart persists as the symbol of moral truth because ethics is not just about logic. It is about love, compassion, and sincerity. We feel moral decisions in the chest, not just in the head. That visceral sense of rightness or wrongness aligns with what cultures have always called the soul's compass in the heart. The heart as the furnace of love. Above all else, the heart symbolizes love. Whether divine or romantic, familial or humanitarian, love is always described as of the heart. This is no accident. Love is both the most personal and the most transcendent of emotions. It binds two people together, yet also connects humanity as a whole. It is the force that mystics call God, poets call passion, and scientists struggle to measure. The heart is the most natural image for love because it is constant, rhythmic, and vital. To love with all one's heart means to give the very essence of one's being. To suffer heartbreak is to feel that essence wounded. Love is what makes the heart's symbolism universal. Every culture, every religion, every human being has known its fire. The heart as the seat of the soul. The question remains, is the heart truly the seat of the soul?
Scientifically, the answer seems clear. Thoughts and memories arise in the brain, not in the heart. But symbolism is not about laboratory facts. It is about existential truth. And in this sense, the heart remains the seat of the soul. Why? Because the soul is not simply cognition. The soul is what makes us alive, what gives us meaning, what binds us to others and to the divine. And in every lived experience, those realities pulse in the heart. The Egyptians saw judgment in the heart. The Hebrews saw sincerity. The Christians saw divine love. The Sufis saw a mirror reflecting God. The Hindus saw the Atman's lotus. The Chinese saw the unity of heart-mind. All of them were pointing to the same mystery, that the soul expresses itself in not cold thought, but in warm heartbeat. The heart and the future of humanity. In a world racing towards artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and digital reality, the heart's symbolism may become more important than ever. Machines can calculate, but they cannot feel. Algorithms can predict, but they cannot love. In defending the heart as the seat of the soul, humanity may also be defending what makes it uniquely human. Future spirituality may increasingly emphasize heart-centered consciousness, calling people to balance intellect with compassion, technology with wisdom, progress with care. If the 20th century exalted the brain through science, computers, and rational systems, the 21st century may need to exalt the heart to preserve meaning in an age of cold precision. Environmental movements already describe the earth as having a heartbeat, a rhythm of seasons and cycles now under threat. Global peace movements speak of uniting heart to heart across cultures. The future may see the heart evolve into not just a personal symbol, but a planetary one, the collective soul of humanity and Earth itself.
Final reflection. Why was the heart considered the seat of the soul? Because no other organ unites biology, morality, love, and transcendence so directly. The brain thinks, but the heart feels. The brain calculates, but the heart commits. The brain organizes, but the heart unites. Even if we now know scientifically that memory and reason reside in the brain, the symbolic truth remains. The heart is where we experience life most deeply. It is where we sense joy, loss, courage, and compassion. It is where we meet God, others, and ourselves. Thus, the ancients were not naive in believing the soul lived in the heart. They were expressing an eternal truth, that the essence of being human, the soul, lives wherever life and love are most intensely felt, and that place, universally, is the heart. The heart in contemporary poetry and music. Even in the age of satellites and smartphones, poets and musicians continue to speak of the heart as the truest voice of the soul. Modern poetry rarely dwells on anatomy, but it constantly invokes the heart to express vulnerability, authenticity, and connection. The poet Mary Oliver often described the heart as the place where wild nature speaks to human longing. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Here, the heart becomes the portal to both instinct and transcendence. In music, references to the heart dominate every genre, from soulful ballads to hip-hop, from folk to rock. Singers describe their aching heart, their fearless heart, or their heart on fire. The fact that billions resonate with these metaphors reveals the heart's unbroken symbolic power. Even listeners who know the brain processes feelings still feel that love and loss are lived in the chest. The heart in contemporary neuroscience. The rise of neuroscience has sparked debates about whether the heart still holds any special role in human identity.
Strict materialists argue that consciousness is entirely brain-based. The heart is a pump, nothing more. Yet other researchers highlight the growing field of neurocardiology, which studies the network of neurons in the heart, sometimes called the little brain in the heart. This system does not produce thought as the brain does, but it does influence perception, decision-making, and emotion. The heart sends signals to the brain that shape our state of mind. For example, a coherent heart rhythm, often created by states of gratitude or calm, can improve clarity of thought and reduce stress. These findings echo ancient insights from Chinese medicine, Sufism, and Hindu yoga. The heart and mind are not separate, but deeply intertwined. Thus, while modern science does not confirm that the soul resides in the heart, it does affirm that the heart participates in shaping consciousness. And so, the ancient intuition is not wholly wrong, it is reframed. The heart in personal spiritual practice. Across the world, countless individuals today practice forms of meditation, prayer, or mindfulness that center on the heart. Some sit quietly, focusing on the heartbeat as a reminder of life's fragility. Others visualize light or warmth in the chest, allowing compassion to radiate outward. Christian mystics still pray for the Sacred Heart of Christ to transform their own hearts. Sufis continue to chant and breathe in rhythm with their hearts as a form of remembrance. Yogis guide students into heart-opening postures, linking the body with inner awareness. Therapists encourage patients to place a hand over their heart to cultivate self-compassion. These practices demonstrate that the heart is not only a metaphor, but also a lived experience. People discover peace, healing, and meaning by turning attention inward to the pulse within. The heart becomes a sacrament of presence, a constant reminder that we are alive, connected, and capable of love. The heart as humanity's shared symbol. Looking across cultures, religions, and sciences, one truth emerges. The heart remains humanity's most shared and enduring symbol. No matter how advanced technology becomes, no matter how far science explains anatomy, people will continue to place their hands over their chests in grief, in oath, in love. The heart is both ancient and modern, both biological and mystical, both personal and universal. It is the drum of life, the mirror of morality, the furnace of love, and yes, the seat of the soul.